Yes, Fruity's fantasy, aka everybody's dream fantasy. I know, don't worry, it's good. Okay, now, yeah, let's look at my team. Pretty much, let's take a look at my team from the weekend. Having a lot of fun with fantasy. I was excited at the start. Okay, obviously, if you did see me announcing my final team last week, I was still up in the air about it. I changed it sort of not last minute, but like I still sort of stuck to the same game plan. But yeah, it's interesting. Let's take a look at the team. Ended up scoring 89 points. I'm currently, you know, I'm doing okay in the league. So I'm mid-table. First game, definitely it's all a bit of luck as well. It's a really fantasy's all a bit of luck. It's all a bit of fun. You can see Sanchez in net at 2 points. I think most people would have probably expected that. Obviously, a very, very, very popular goalkeeper in the game. Trent getting a 6. Luke Shaw a little bit disappointing with the 1. Okay, but last weekend's match against Leeds was definitely a positive for United, for fantasy owners with Luke Shaw in their team, because he almost scored a goal. He's attacking a lot. Okay, and with Varane coming in next to him eventually, he's going to attack a lot more. Okay, and even with Pogba playing on that left side, could see Luke Shaw getting more assists and even just attacking more, as I said. So even probably maybe score a goal eventually. So I wouldn't dwell too much on that Luke Shaw option. Still very happy with that. Tsimikas over the moon. He did start. He's not a great player though. Not a great player, but 6 points for a 4 million defender. Perfect. Speak to me. So happy with those. Greenwood with 8, which is good. And Greenwood was a player that I was harping on quite a bit. The only concerning thing, obviously, is his minutes. What's it got to be like? But Greenwood with 8 points scored a goal. He only had the one shot in the box, but he was very lively. And I think against Southampton on the weekend, I'm expecting big stuff from him. With Cavani only really just started to train with the United team. I don't think he's a big fan of Martial or Gunnar Solskjaer, so I think Greenwood should have that striker role. Especially if he's playing through the middle and maybe on the left as well, rotating a little bit. I think he should have that role quite down in his name for the next couple of weeks, and very favourable fixtures for United as well. Obviously, Salah, we knew he was going to do business as usual against Norwich. He did just that. As my captain, Bruno on 20, which was all right, sweet. Rafinha was a bit disappointing, but overall Leeds were a bit disappointing. Like, Bamford especially, maybe could have done a little bit more, but Everton this weekend, I think they should bounce back. Tony, once again, 2 points. Disappointing in the sense because for a long time I did have Antonio in this team, and he goes and does what he does. But Danny Ings made up for it by scoring a goal. And overall, I'm still quite happy with the team. I'm not going to make any changes. There are some on my watch list, which I'll let you know in about 2 seconds. But overall, I'm content. Okay, it could have been a little bit better. I think Luke Shaw ultimately can, if he can pull out, the yellow card sort of damage his score a bit. And I do still expect Leeds to do well, and Rafinha and Bamford to get more than 3 points combined in the near future. So there is a big week that I'm needing. However, I do have my watch list, and the watch list includes of mainly attackers because I'm quite happy with my defenders. And first up, I've got Richarlison, and I know he's about. I think he did just get a price upgrade, and he is one of the most transferred in players. With Paul Pogba being number one, but I'm not really buying the bullet on Pogba. I think he can sit a bit deep in it for his price as well. I think he maybe get some more beneficial plays, but that's someone we can also keep an eye on. I've got Richarlison up there because if Bamford does continue maybe having a poor couple of games. I'm not really going to buy the bullet just yet, but Richarlison, I'm expecting him to have quite a good season. But Everton, we do know, do start the season well. And Richarlison hasn't had much of a preseason. So maybe halfway through the year, we could see him start to get some more soft tissue injuries and miss out on more games than a Patrick Bamford. But Richarlison definitely is someone on my list. I'm not going to bring him just yet, but he's someone I'm watching out for. Another striker is Dennis from Watford, and very cheap, 5 million for Dennis. He was lively. He got on the score sheet for Watford, but he got in some unbelievable positions. A lot of it, I assume, obviously does depend on Watford's success and how long they can maintain, their positive results. Obviously, just one game happening, but Dennis, I think, is someone, if he can do it for another 2-3 weeks, who do I take out? Possibly an Ivan Toney, possibly a Bamford if Bamford's really not stepping up to it, and try to upgrade one of my other midfielders, maybe Greenwood in the near future, or Rafinha. Ben Rama obviously had a fantastic weekend, so Ben Rama could be someone that comes in for Rafinha instead. And then Ben Rama is another one on the watch list, but he's a highly owned player. So I'm sure a lot of you will be aware. And one that sort of pained me on the weekend was Heung-min Son, because I've had Son in this team for a long time. And I was definitely, Son was definitely a player that, you know what, I think he could have a very good season. He obviously scored. I had to move him away to fit in Bruno Fernandes. But Son is another one where, again, if I do maybe trade out a Bamford or a Tony and bring in a Rafinha or a Dennis at striker, where which frees up, and I've got point 0.5 in the bank, obviously, which frees up a bit more room. Um, in the bank, as I said, in the bank, frees up some more room there. Maybe a Son could be someone who I get in before his price does start to increase in the near future. So that's going to wrap it up for the fantasy segment. Another big weekend to come. Obviously, like I said, I'm kind of new to the fantasy YouTube thing and all that. It's not going to be the greatest fantasy YouTube place you're going to find, but yeah, it's a big weekend. This team, I'm still quite confident with. On a good weekend, ideally Liverpool play Burnley, could be seeing good results there. United have got Southampton. You should be seeing results there from United. Leeds, Everton. Okay, Leeds can definitely start to punish maybe that Everton defense. Brighton have got Palace, so maybe Tony can get his first goal on the board. And Villa, obviously the next game being against Watford as well. So that maybe that Watford Villa game could be a game that if Dennis can continue his good form, maybe Dennis could instead of Ings, maybe. I'm not sure. Still very early days. I wouldn't hit the panic button just yet. Do not use your chips just yet either. But overall, it's got to wrap us up for the 1-0 show this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. If you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe for more. I'm going to be back next week. We do have an interview next week coming up with Adam Peacock. If you're from Australia, you wouldn't know. If you've watched the A-League, you wouldn't know who he is. So thank you for joining me. I'm Costa. Deuces.